Yeah, hi everybody, Ryan here back with you again on a beautiful Monday morning, I guess. Out here in Illinois, a little bit hot. Fortunately still here, maybe against the wishes of some, but that could be talked about here a little bit later possibly. Friday, got this load picked up, was in and out down there in Portland, chemical load. And Rentwell Wells in and out there in about 45 minutes or so. And got down, I parked at the TA over there in Troutdale and left out that night. Next morning, I guess it'd be Saturday morning, made it over to, where did I go? Out by Butte, Montana. It's Flying J out there. There's two of them right next to each other. Parked across the highway, parked at one of those. Left out there, was out to South Dakota yesterday, left out there and made it down here. So edging our way over to New York, a little bit south of Albany eventually. So we're taking this, but when I got loaded on this, I wanted to show you guys a little method that an old timer showed me when I was like the first day I was a company driver over at Snyder. And like I said, I got my CDL when I was still active duty Navy. As a mechanic when I got out, I worked at some places and drove a little bit here and there. So fortunately, I never had to go out with a trainer or anything like that. So I know there's a lot of horror stories, and I'm glad I didn't ever have to do that, because I'm not a team type of, in a team, I'm not a team driver. I don't like being with other people. I like doing my own thing, and I'm just not that close quarters type of person. So, but like I said, my first load out of Columbus, there was like 3 of us that got sent out to, it was my first load as a company driver or with the trucking company, basically, other than hauling gravel and dump trucks and stuff like that. It was what I did prior when I was a mechanic, kind of on the side. But there was 3 of us they sent over to Shasta, up there outside of Obetz, Ohio, down there around Columbus, and was picking up soda pop. And it was all new to me, and there was an older guy there that he'd been with the company for Snyder like 25 years, and he came over and showed me a little trick. And some of y'all might know this, and some of you might not, but this I was going to go ahead and show you, since this load didn't have to be sealed, so I can show you how things are loaded. Now, the first thing I'm going to show you is my truck has a fixed 5th wheel, and that means once my truck is loaded, the only way I can shift weight off of my front axle is to use the tandems back here on the trailer and shift weight off the entire truck. So, and there's another way too, and that depends on how they load my trailer. So a lot of times, you see behind me, on heavier load, this load here, this is like 42,000 on the weight, and it's chemical totes. So they're heavy, but the space doesn't take up the whole trailer. So they're pretty compact. So one thing I like about Landstar with direct customers and stuff like that, it's usually a pretty good rapport, and I'll usually talk to the person that's going to be doing the loading, so I can let them know like kind of what I want, and they'll ask me usually, and they usually have a plan. They know, most of them know what they're doing. Occasionally they go someplace where they don't know what they're doing, might have somebody new, or they don't know how to load stuff properly. But for me, if I got a heavier load like this and it's more condensed, it's not like a full trailer load of pallets, like where I think I got 20 or 24 of those totes in here, I'll actually use the load bars that have the E-channel clips, not the friction type ones that just press against the trailer, because those can move with something heavy or if you stop fast. Or I'll use a couple of straps, put like 4 straps across, and I will actually have them hold the load back, about 2 or 3 feet or so, or even about even a foot. Because your E-channel is going to be on these ribs, so you kind of limit it to that. But even so, because to distribute that weight properly, you want to have the bulk of the weight in between your axle. So you're going to want to be right at the center of this axle right here, where you want to start your load. And then with the same thing with the back, and here's the trick I'm going to show you how you can basically set your axles before you seal your trailer, if you have to seal it. And chances are, for me, like 90% of the time, every time, if that makes any sense, usually when I set these tandems the way I'm about to show you, I typically never, when I go scale, everything's perfect. I don't have, I mean, if it's loaded right, if everything, I mean, normally if everything's the same weight in here like these are, everything would be pretty even, and I can go across the scale, cat scale, whatever, and I won't even have to adjust anything because everything would be even, it'd be right on. Now I open this door and show you what I'm talking about here. This stuff's like ammonia, so it smells nasty in there. So if you notice these ribs in here where the E-channel is, you can count those. So we're at, on this load here, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm at the fifth rib back there is where the back and the end of the load is. So you can come outside here and you can count these on the outside. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So look right there on the fifth one, look where my tires are, my tandems. So I got my tandems right underneath the end of that load. So I basically got the bulk of the load is in between my first drive axle and my last tandem axle here. So you're keeping the load over top. And when I scaled this, I mean, I was basically right on. They were pretty much even. I think I like at 30, it was like at 32 and 32 basically, 31 and some change and 32 back here. And I'm pretty much at 40 feet too, so I could go to California if I wanted to. I mean, the problem is that when you get too much weight over the back end, then you're going to have a lot more weight on the tandems back here, and it's going to be hard to even if it's not loaded properly. So I mean, if you are talking to somebody and if they got mixed stuff where some stuff's heavier or lighter, and they ask me what I want to do, I'll usually try to put that heavier stuff in the center of the trailer, and that makes it gives you a little bit more flexibility and adjusting everything up. And like I said, it's pretty critical for me, like I said, because I don't have a slidable fifth wheel. And I mean, whoever put it on, whoever laid it out, they did a good job, because I'm always right around 12,000, so it works pretty well. But like when I get up around 44,000 pounds on a load, which I rarely haul, I got to be pretty careful how it's loaded, because it can be over, and I find myself I got to run with a half a tank of fuel, and I only have 200 gallons total. Which only holds like 95 gallons. So that puts me down, if I got to run with a half a tank, I mean, I got to stop for fuel like every 500, 600 miles, and especially if it's heavy, you're going to use more fuel. But I'll show you what I'm talking about as far as a fixed fifth wheel if you don't know what I'm talking about. See, underneath here, that's the fifth wheel is bolted on, and that's it. I can't move it. I don't have the big slider and all that, which it saves you a few hundred pounds of weight on the truck by not having that slider and all that. So that's beneficial there. And if they're put on in the right spot like this one is, I really have no problems, unless it's not loaded properly. So I just thought I would share that. And like I said, if you got a load like this where everything's kind of the same weight, and if you don't have to worry, some states are 41 feet for the kingpin wall, and that's what that red arrow is. California is 40 feet. And not every state out there is 34,000 pounds, and not every state for the tandems and the drives. Some states are higher, some states are 37 or 44. So it just really depends on the state where you're at. But I mean, the rule of thumb is generally they're 34, 34, and 12. But actually, I mean, 12 is a good rule of thumb. But states vary widely as far as your steer axle. Some states you can have 20,000 pounds. I mean, of course, if your axle's rated for that and your tires are rated for that, because yeah, they can say 20,000 pounds, but if your truck's not rated for it and they pull you in and check your GVR or GVRW or whatever for your front axle, and you only rated for 12,000, then they're gonna get you. You're gonna be overweight, or if your tires ain't rated for that much weight. Some states, they actually go by the tire width, and if you have a metric tire, like that first number, that 295, is actually the metric width of the tire. And you can divide that by 25.4, and that'll convert that basically to inches. In some states like Ohio, that's 650 pounds per inch of tire. So you got two tires. So you do that math, figure out the width of the tires in inches. Both tires, you'd have to times that by 2 again, and then the 650 pounds per inch. Or some states are 600, some states are 550. But like I said, it's all going to depend. I mean, they might have those limits, but if you're running 14 ply tires or something, and your tires are only rated for 12,000 for the pair, that's all you got, or if your front axle's only rated for 12,000, that's all you got. So it's usually the same. I mean, and all the states are different. Some states like Indiana is a straight 12,000. So on that front axle. So that's just if you got a good Truckers Atlas, Rim and Alley. I got the big, thick, glossy one. And when the orange page is up front, it actually tells you all that information, what states and what. So so if you're running like in one state and you don't have to go across state lines, you may be able to run a lot more. So just keep that in mind, and that's some information you can look up out there if you're interested. But so that's that. I just wanted to bring that up because I went ahead and had it set like that and scaled it, and it was just perfect. And usually that's the way it works for me with this type of load. I don't even have to get out there. I just go across steels, check it, and I know I'm good to go, and I never have to move them again after I set them, like I said, where that rib is. So, go ahead and close this up. And had another topic that I wanted to talk about, and that's C.Y.A. So that's an acronym. If you've been in the military, you probably know what that stands for. Basically, cover your butt. There's a lot of people out here. You're a big target out here by a lot of means. You got other people, you know, the four-wheelers and all that. There's these billboards everywhere, you know, saying call me, one call, that's all. You know, these people, they got them thinking that if they get brushed by a truck, they're going to get $1 million settlement or something. So you can't trust any of them. And that's the other thing is DTA, don't trust anyone. That's another acronym I learned in the Navy. And I'm not saying you can't, it's basically just like don't trust I mean, you can trust people, but like if you're dealing with an agent or something like that, I always make sure I get everything in email. You know, as you know, if you're watching, I had to cancel that load up in Tacoma, and that was basically because they tried to change the details of it, and I wasn't sitting there, you know, for an extra day. And I made sure after I got off the phone, I sent them an email, hey, just wanted to confirm that this load's canceled, and make sure you get an email back and stuff like that, because you got to have some type of paper trail, because I mean, it's not typical, but you never know what you know, if it comes down to your word against their word or something like that. The other thing's other drivers out here. There's a new guy just came over to Landstar that was watching the channel, and he kind of made a decision based off some of our videos to come over, and he's doing really well. I think last week, after all expenses, he did like $3,700. So I mean, really exceptional week, especially being here for basically, I think he's been here about a month now or so. So good on him for that. But he had a little deal where yeah, I guess he was driving LTL or something, so he hadn't been around the truck stuffs very much. And the first night he was out, I think he might have brushed up. He thought he brushed up against another truck when he was backing in or something, and they got out and he didn't see any damage. And the other driver came out and was all cool with it and everything. Oh yeah, no big deal, man, we're buddy. And so the guy goes to bed, gets up in the morning, and wakes up to this guy like beating on his door or something, wanting his insurance information and all this other stuff, and this kind of craziness. But luckily he had pictures of it and let Landstar know and all that. And they kind of laughed it off because like there was literally nothing wrong with this guy's truck. And it's just document everything you do, and especially if you're on the social medias out here. I'm not on Facebook, not on Twitter's, Instagram. I'm not into none of that stuff. I do the YouTube stuff because I like putting out information to people, helping people out. I like seeing people succeed in this business. And like I said, in probably the next 12 months or so, I'm kind of looking to have a lot less trucking going on for me, maybe just a wintertime thing, but I'm kind of looking to make my farm business full time. So if you guys I've talked about that some. So I'm just not a big social media person. Like I said, I like doing this because I like sharing stuff and I like showing how I do things. And like I said, I really like I like to hear success stories. I like to pass stuff on. I'm not here to hide anything. I'm truthful. I'm going to tell you if somebody asks me about a truck payment, I'm going to tell you the truth, what I think, my honest opinion. I mean, I've had a high truck payment. I've had cheap truck payments. I've worked on a lot of different stuff. I mean, I'm always working on this thing, as you know. It's like having another kid. But again, coming back to that social media stuff, like I said, even with YouTube videos and all that, you got to be real careful out here because there are trolls And people that, I don't know, for whatever reason, they got a problem with you, even if you ain't doing nothing wrong, or you're trying to help people. Either it's, I don't know, jealousy, or I don't know, maybe they got fired, maybe their wife left them, and on, I don't know. But it's beyond that. But it's this, you never know when there's going to be an attack come. And even if you're in the right, even if you didn't do nothing wrong, you may have to back yourself up and you know, to a company that you work for, in a court of law, to lawyers or whatever. So like I said, if it might look like you were doing something but you weren't, you got to use your head and make sure you have documentation to back that up. Now, like I said, that could be a dash cam video. I recommend everybody out here, get yourself a good dash cam. I've got a Garmin in there, about 200 bucks. Get a big SD card that saves a couple days. You don't want a little tiny SD card that it comes with that it tapes over every 30 minutes, because you may need to go back a couple days. So I got like a 160 gig SD card in mine. It does about 2.5–3 days, where it's constantly rolling. So get that. GPS coordinates, some places you may be, and I don't know if you all didn't know, these ELDs in here, they track all your changes of status and all that. Like if you took a 30-minute break at a way station in New York, or Washington State, and you know, it's going to show me changing that status there, you know, exactly where I said I was at and exactly what I said I was doing. And so that way, if somebody tries to, you know, a misconception on something and tries to turn you in and get you in trouble or fired, you got some way of backing it up. So there's a lot of tools out there, and you really got to use your head with that type of stuff, because there are trolls out there and they're sharpening their knives and all. I don't know, I don't get people. The cancel culture and all that these days is pretty ridiculous. And kind of with that, I'm gonna tell you what happened. I didn't really know if I was going to get into this, because it's pretty frustrating. That's why I didn't put anything out over the weekend, because I was really thinking about this. But I did a video. I was talking about parking and all that, and I actually stopped for a 30-minute break down in across the bridge, I-82, Columbia River down there, across the bridge, and walk from Oregon to Washington. When you come across the bridge on the Columbia, you get off. The first exit there, like half a mile after the bridge, is State Route 14. Get off there, hang a left, and it's kind of a shortcut around the Tri-Cities and all that, instead of taking 92 around. But there's a little way station there. So sun was coming up, nice sunrise and all that. I figured pull in there in that way station. There was also a big cinder pile, like a DOT area, so there was a lot of trucks parked in there. So I kind of pulled up to the end and pulled up against that cinder pile, and I proceeded to do a video. And didn't think nothing of it. My wife put it on with the other bit, the second half of the video. And so I ended up Friday, I got out of the shower, and I parked down there at Troutdale. I got out of the shower, getting ready to walk out, and I got a phone call. Illinois number, you know, Lancaster has some offices up here in Illinois, and the lady said, hey, this is so-and-so, I'm with Lancaster Safety, and just need to talk to you about something. And like, she's like, oh, we're not canceling you or anything, we just need to get some information. And proceeds to tell me that somebody sent Lancaster Safety a portion of that video and tried to say that I was out, one of their BCOs was out on the roadside doing a video. And I think that's pretty low. When you don't, if you drove by me, if I was standing on this, there's a road over there, if I was out there standing on the side of that road doing a video with my truck parked over there on by the yellow line, and you drove by me and saw it, okay, you got me. But you don't, watching the video, and luckily there was enough points of reference in the video, and I could back that up with satellite view of those cinder piles and everything I was standing by, where they could see exactly where I was, and I could prove I wasn't doing anything wrong. And you know, I'm a big proponent, you know, Lancaster has a sitting duck policy, and I don't talk about it because I don't think it needs to be a policy. I think it's common sense. I drive the schedules that I do, nights, park in the morning, because I like parking like this. I don't want to have to try to park out there. I don't want to go park by the scale. I don't want to go park by the fuel. I don't want to park in the fire lane. And that's what I do. So I'm not going to go do something that I advocate strongly against like an idiot and then videotape it on top of that. Come on, you think I'm that stupid? But so I just want to put that out there. So when you're out here, and like I said, I'm going to have to be now, just like that's why I'm walking around showing everybody, so like, yeah, I'm not on the road. So you just have to be cautious out here. Watch what you say and watch what you do, and don't trust anyone out here, basically. because you never know who's coming with the pointy knives for you. I guess, I don't know, maybe, like I said, I have no idea what I did to anybody, but whatever. So that's my rant or whatever, and advice. Like I said, to be cautious in what you do, what you say, because like I said, the cancel culture is there, guys. And I don't get it myself personally. I'm just here to try to help people and kind of maybe build something on the side in the future, and that's it. I got guys I talk to on the phone for hours. I probably spend 20 hours a week talking to people on the phone. I don't ask anybody for anything. I don't even ask for a referral. I don't even give guys my information for referrals, because that's not what this is about. I like to hear those success stories, and if I can be a part of that, that's what this is about. So I'm gonna leave it at that. We appreciate all the support out there, views and all that, subscribers. Hit the bell for the updates. Probably gonna get this house on the market, so I'm gonna be off the road for a couple days, but not as long as last time. And so that's pretty much it. Again, we appreciate the support. Hit the bell for the updates, subscribe, and we'll see y'all next time.